Howdy. I hope I'm in shot here. I'm kind of doing some janky filming. I hope the wind's not too much. I'm going to call this video Pyramid Proof Challenge. So this is for anyone that's been kind of following or have seen what's going on with the pyramids. This is a call to action to you to try this for yourself in an easy and efficient way without spending hours building your own pyramid. So I'm going to run through how to do that exactly. If you do decide to do this, please film your results and send them to me or upload them yourself. Anyone who does this is really a huge legend in my eyes. You're making the world to me, essentially. All right, that out of the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how to do this yourself at the start of this video. Then I'm going to show you exactly what I've been doing. So here you can kind of see my madness, organized chaos. And then I'm going to be talking about my next steps in experimentation. So to start off, I've got two goals. I've repeated this a few times to people via email. My two goals are to bring this technology, this effect, whatever you want to call it, to its full fruition. And in my eyes, that is reliably being able to produce large amounts of white powder gold, if that is in fact possible. Otherwise, it's just getting more reliable effects from the cork and other materials and stronger effects, essentially. The other part to this is to have this studied and recognized by the scientific community. This is really important to me. I believe it's absolutely valid and warranted for this to happen. I'm not sure which of these two goals is going to come first, and I'm well aware that I can't do this on my own. In my opinion, I need help. I need people smarter than myself to put their minds to this as well. All right, so without further ado, hoping I'm in shot right now. I can't really see what I'm doing. What I'm going to explain to you is how you can do this yourself. So if you look here, this here is a pyramid from fire molds bought online. So essentially, this part of the pyramid can become undone and it folds flat, and you can buy this as a flat pack mold from Bulgaria. They're quite reasonably priced. Here's another one here for you to look at. Same deal. See a little bit of tape down there. And again, another one, a much smaller one. You don't have to buy a big one, but you can buy these online pre-made, and they will produce the effect in cork. Not to the same extent as my first video with my original pyramid here, but they will produce the effect sufficiently enough for you to see it. So what you need to do is you need to order one of these. Then you need to find a way to suspend some cork about halfway. So I know in Giza pyramids, the energy knot is about a third up. In these, it seems to be about halfway. That's the sweet point. So what you need to do is measure it, of course, just roughly. And you either need to hang the cork on a little bit of string that you can put some blue tack on or some beeswax or something to stick it up there and hang it, or you can suspend it on paper. So this is how I actually did it in the first video, and I'm not convinced that there's not significance to this. So I rolled up some paper and I put my little vial or my cork or whatever on that paper about halfway up the pyramid, right? So the pyramid goes on top. There you go, all done. All right, then what you need to do is ideally you'll have a control piece of cork that hasn't been exposed to the pyramid, and you'll want to get your pointy object to see if there is attraction with. So I found that stainless steel does tend to work better, although plastic and other materials do work. I would stick with stainless steel. It seems to be the most effective. You want something with a kind of a gradient of point to it. The shape of it actually really does matter. And what you want to do is you don't want to touch the cork on the very tip. You want to touch it kind of just below it. That seems to be the sweet spot. And what you'll end up doing is you will touch it, I don't know, 5 times, and you'll see how many times it takes for there to be attraction. So it might take 15, it might take 3. It seems to really depend on the day. Like it can change from hour to hour. It's really bizarre, but that is the case. And you want to make sure that your cork is broken up, or whatever material you're using is broken up into small enough sizes that you can actually see the attraction. So the heavier it is, the denser it is, the more charge there has to be for it to be attracted. So if you're getting a weak charge from like a pre-bought small pyramid like this, you want your cork as small as possible so that you can see any and all effects caused by it. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take your control cork that has not been in the pyramid and your regular cork, and you want to keep them separate. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have two identical pokers or two similar pokers. Now the issue is if you put a poker on charged cork enough, the poker actually becomes charged and will start causing the effect in material that has not been exposed to the pyramid. So you need to keep your pokers separate. I've experienced this, it's very strange, but the poker takes on its own magnetism after a while. What I found works really, really well is actually pens. It's really bizarre, but there's something about the layering. So having the internal metal with the external plastic and the ink inside, it is far superior to stainless steel in my experience. I mean, there is stainless steel in it, but regardless, get two identical pens and you'll probably see a very, very strong effect. Another thing that is incredibly effective is actually using the plastic tip of the pyramid itself. These attract much better than stainless steel in my experience. Okay, so you want to do all this, you want to film it, record it. You don't have to leave it in the pyramid for weeks. I find that results kind of max out with cork after 12 to 24 hours. So longer will not necessarily yield more charge in my experience. Positioning and alignment of the pyramid will. Make sure that your pyramid is facing roughly north. You may need a magnetic compass to find magnetic north, or you can use Google Maps or an app on your phone to find true north. That's quite important and something I haven't mentioned in other videos. Aligning the pyramid to north does matter to some extent, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so if you do that, contact me via email, send it through, upload it yourself, whatever, prove it to yourself. You know, I'm not trying to blow smoke up people. I'm trying to really build some validity here. That's for sure. I truly believe what's going on. Okay, on to part 2. These are my pyramids here. I've been quite busy. I've given away 2 so far, and they're made of a bunch of different materials. So here's my original. You can see, you know, it's got the magnetite and a little bit of charcoal, PVC foam on the outside. These guys are actually beeswax. Beeswax is not cheap, by the way. They are heavy, and they have shungite and magnetite mixed into them. This here is pure beeswax. It's more a recent one. What I've actually found is the thickness of the pyramid does have an impact. Thinner seems to be better. I had a really nice big pure beeswax pyramid about this big that was quite thin that I gave away. I mean, thickness does seem to have an influence, so if you are going to build one, don't try and make it super thick is my advice, or make it solid with a cavity in the middle. So yeah, this is what I've been doing. I've tried all different sorts of mixes of materials, all different configurations. You can see that's only got a small cavity. And yeah, what I want to do now is I want to show you the original cork, which I have here in little pieces. I don't know why there's a pill capsule in there, but that's okay. And here is the original gold too, with I think that's actually myrrh resin. It's organized chaos here, so forgive me for that. So I'm going to open these up and try and film this half decently and just show you that there is still an effect. Now it seems that, like I said, the day that you test these things affects it. You know, hour to hour it changes. The people who are around it can even influence it. I think proximity to the earth and the magnetic and electrical field of the earth has an impact too, you know. All these things do seem to make a minor difference. So, like I said, you know, what you're going to do is you're going to take your poker, like I did in the video. I'll just change the camera setting slightly here. And you're going to touch it. And you may have to do this many times. This material from the original pyramid has far more of a charge than any other material I've put in them. I don't know why that is. I'm trying to work it out. You may have to do it like 15 times. You just have to play with it, essentially. There we go. So really what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that this is repeatable. This material has kept its charge. You know, I'm on tiles here outside. There's no funny business. You know, I'm essentially earthed. I mean, this is concrete. I presume that these tiles are somewhat conductive. And I'm just showing you that nothing has really changed. And you know, I've been messing around with these other pyramids. They all produce the effect. It's just of varying degrees. You know, that's picking up like every time. Some of them might do it once every 7 touches. It just really all does depend. So what I'll do now is I will take the pen I'll get one more. It's not a precise science at all, you know, getting this stuff to attract. I don't know why or when or how it decides to latch on or sync with the poker. All right, last one. Three, yeah, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to take the pen and you can just have a look at the difference in the attraction. So there, that's like the second time. Now you could argue that, yeah, there's like a little bit of ink on the pen and it could be sticking that way. What I'll do, I mean, it's just ridiculous actually, the amount of attraction with the pen, is I'll actually touch it with the plastic bit here and you'll see the same effects. So I hope you guys can see this, and I hope for some of you skeptics, I mean, I'm grateful for all skeptics. I think we should all have a healthy amount of skepticism. I hope this just kind of reaffirms a little bit that this wasn't some weird fluke that occurred that night. This has been going on for months. I've been messing with it for months now. So it's pretty obvious, pretty clear. I'll try this pen. I really think pens are the meta at the moment, you know? There's something about the shape and the layering of metal and non-metal. I do believe that. So yeah, almost every time here. Alright. And last thing, I'm going to use a screwdriver. This is actually one of the least effective pokers I've found. I think there's something about having a slow gradient to the point. Okay, so I've got, 3 minutes left of recording time. What I'm going to talk about now is what I'm doing from here. So you can see here I've got a variety of different vials. Essentially, I'm trying to work out why that first pyramid was so much stronger than the others. So one of the possibilities is the conical shape of the vial that first material was in. It kind of created an inverse cone inside the pyramid, and I'm wondering if that had some impact. So I'm going to be messing around with that in some unique ways. I've also got an orgone accumulator here. So this is about 12 or 15 sheets of paper and aluminum foil stacked on top of each other. I made this yesterday and I tried placing a smaller pyramid with some material in it. This orgone accumulator actually seems to cancel out the effects to some degree after some time. In my opinion, from my experience, leaving it on there for a while, it makes it less effective. But who knows if that's really true. Like I said, it's hard to gauge how charged the material is. All right, over here, this is a big cardboard box that has layered paper and aluminum foil. Again, the layering like Wilhelm Reich talks about, you know, to create a flow in the ether, if you like. This is also, the reason I'm making this is not just to create an orgone charge, it's also to experiment with shielding from electromagnetic fields. So it's like a Faraday cage, essentially. This original pyramid had a lot of magnetite in it. Magnetite is very good at shielding electromagnetic energy and radiation. So I'm wondering if that had an influence. I'll be completing the last few layers of that tonight and experimenting with that more. And that's pretty much it at the moment. What I'm going to do in the near future is make some solid pyramids, and I'm going to create a small cavity inside the pyramid, like an inverse pyramid. So the large pyramid will face this way, and then there'll be a cavity in the middle facing down. So I'm going to try solid pyramids, see what happens there, and of course the electromagnetic shielding. Alright, I think I'm running out of time here. I just wanted to show you that this is all alive and well. Things are happening, and like I said, if this isn't evidence for you that something strange is going on here, I mean, I am pretty much earthed. I'm sure there's no current or charge. My hand is on the ground, and this has been 4 months. So until next time, this is the Pyramid Proof Challenge. Please don't hesitate to contact me. I love all enthusiasm. All comments, all thoughts, all momentum is super, super appreciated.